is?
Nah, man, it's Tuesday.
Wait. What day is it?
You know what day it is. Tuesday. Brewsday Tuesday.
Oh, fuck yeah! It's time for Brewsday Tuesday, brought to you by the Cellar and Six Pack Store. Here is Huck and Big Nate.
I jumped the gun, but I just wanted to be ready. I knew there were shots coming.
Shots fired.
How you doing today, Huck?
I'm doing good. This is one of my favorite days of the year. Fat Tuesday.
Yeah, you
Like,
know,
the only holiday that always falls on our show. Always.
I mean, that's that kind of predictability. That's something to celebrate there. I'm a big fan of the arbitrary middle of the week. Well, I mean, it's Mardi Gras is not arbitrary, but the middle of the week drinking, I think you don't really need a reason for it, but it's great to have one.
Yeah.
And
I'm not sure what you're saying. I drink every day.
I'm excited to be celebrating Mardi Gras with you.
Hey, yeah. Probably again, we don't have the strippers. Didn't bring any beats, though, so in fairness, I guess I'm not properly prepared should they show up.
Well, now I'm wondering. So,
yeah,
you and I both, we've been to that place over in Princeton, and do you think they'd accept beads in lieu of a tip on Mardi Gras?
They were always really friendly when we went over there, so I would say probably.
I mean, they were always very nice.
I mean, we give them beer and stuff too.
I find myself wondering how they're doing.
I know it's been a while, hasn't it?
Pandemic.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
So if you work at the Southern Exposure, just know I'm thinking of you. This is
Yes.
Brewsday Tuesday,
Me
brought
too.
to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store. And like Huck mentioned, we are celebrating Mardi Gras.
So we're drinking some Abita beers here. I've got the Mardi Gras Bock, and it's got a King Neptune, it looks like, on it. He's one of the a float guy. They this year, they're not having a parade, so apparently people were decorating up their houses.
That's what I've heard.
Like the floats and throwing goodies out if you drive by.
I wondered what they were going to do about Mardi Gras. But can you imagine? You're going to have that one damn neighbor who like leaves his decorations up until Lent is over. Like they're just going to have their decorations up far too long.
Well, I mean, I know that there was something I read that, not too big a change of subject, but there's Christmas decorations up in all the towns. I know they said they're going to leave an extra month, but we're well over that.
Yeah, February 1st, I started taking mine down.
Well, you're supposed to take them down on the 12th day of Christmas, January 6th.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's the day. So
I have to muster. I'm real bad. I will say this. I'm making fun of that neighbor who always does it. I'm
You're
real
the neighbor.
bad. Like, I'll take the outside ones down pretty quickly because I don't want to be that neighbor.
Yeah.
But inside my house, like, it takes me forever to muster the energy to get it down. It's like just so exhausting from all the travel and the holidays and stuff.
So what do you know about Mardi Gras?
Not a lot.
Well, Mardi Gras is a festival that they have in celebration of Lent. The beginning of Lent is Fat Tuesday, but in New Orleans, they have parades for 3 weeks leading up to it. They have big balls where they all dress up and they go out. You have to have a king cake, which is like a big giant donut with purple and gold and white frosting, and in it is a baby. And whoever gets the piece of the king cake with the baby has to bring the king cake next year.
Oh, man.
Yes. We should have had a king cake.
We should have, but
that's all right. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. So the celebrations, it's funny because the tourists will go there and they'll show up on Fat Tuesday to celebrate. And what really is about 6 o'clock on Fat Tuesday, everything's over and all the locals go home. The weekend before and the weekend before that are the 2 weekends to be there. I mean, a lot of parades. I've been there like the 2 weekends before, and they think there were 3 to 6 parades. It's hard to tell. Most of them get on the same route, but there's a couple of rogue ones. And then they get the dances every Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. And you can actually pay like $600 and be on one of the parade floats.
I mean, New Orleans sounds like a really cool town. I've never actually been to New Orleans. I've been in Louisiana, never made it down to New Orleans, but like they're so progressive with what they'll let you do. Like you can walk into a bar, grab a drink, decide you don't like the bar, walk out of the bar with your drink. And I don't know why more places aren't like that.
Yeah, well, we're kind of like that right now with the COVID.
Yeah, if alcohol delivery stops,
But I've
gonna have some problems.
walked out with them in my hand, but now they kind of push down on that. But like the first one, they said you could go buy food and a drink. I was in a certain restaurant I won't name, and ordered 2-for-1 burgers, and I went in. I said they're ready, and they go no. I said, well, give me a double bourbon on the rocks, and they did. And I'm sipping it, and the guy comes right out with my food, and I said, hey, can I have a plastic cup? And the guy's like, sure. And up the street I went.
I know exactly what place you're
Yeah, I know
talking
you would. I knew
about.
you would. I knew you
And,
would.
They have been heroes throughout all of this, at
They
least in
have.
my experience.
They have
opened up delivery options.
Yep.
Like you could literally just have the margarita show up at your door.
So
It's amazing.
anyway, so back to New Orleans is there's a few things you got to do when you go there. The first one, of course, is to go to the Mardi Gras Museum, and it's actually they store a lot of the floats there, and they make them and they work on them, and they're always doing something that's really worth. It's like $10, $15, $20, and you go in and you got to ride the streetcar. Runs along the river, and it goes actually to that museum, but it goes all the way down the river. If you're there on a weekend, there's probably going to be some kind of parade, especially like football season. They have them for football games, they have them for conventions. There's always a parade almost every weekend. You need to go to St. Louis Cemetery number 1 and visit Marie Duval, and because she's the voodoo queen. Let's see, you need to go down to Bourbon Street, but not for too long and not after, say, 7:38 at night. Just trust me on this. There's no need to be there.
Why not?
Oh, it just gets crazy. I mean, it gets crazy. The people, the thing is, it's known that at Mardi Gras, New Orleans, people will sometimes bare their chests, women, and then men will throw beads to them. Well, then it gets kind of out of hand because then sometimes men think they need to bear something too. Well, that's not really a good thing, and they get arrested. And then sometimes girls do that, and guys think that means they can touch them, and no, then you'll get arrested and beat up by a girl's boyfriend. And then the other thing is it's hard to find a place to pee. You really have to go buy a beer to pee, and if you pee on the street, then you get arrested. Usually while you're still peeing, and because they're really quick about that. So it's a mess.
That's a charge you don't want either.
No.
For anyone who doesn't know, if you get arrested peeing in public, you will end up on a sex offenders registry, and they have to tell your neighbors, and
even though
big black mark on your record.
Even though it was no big
it's
thing.
Like, look, I was just peeing.
It was no big
Not
thing.
a pervert. I just had to go.
No big thing. I'm surprised they even saw it. No, in my case, that is. Yeah, so that's the kind of things you got to do. I like to just sit up on a river. There's a bar that overlooks the Mississippi, and it's like 3 levels high. And if you can get to the top, because it's usually pretty full, you can sit out there and have beverages and watch the big. I mean, they're big boats go through there. There were 2 cruise ships there the last time I was there.
How many times have you been to Mardi Gras?
I've only been to Mardi Gras twice, but I go to New Orleans like twice a year. I just like New Orleans, like you say.
Do we know where the bead thing came from?
No,
like I'm looking it up, trying to like research, and it says like it's been documented as early as 1889.
Yeah,
but like no word on the actual significance of the beads. And of course, Wikipedia, where I'm looking this up, is real clinical in their
about
description. In the last decades of the 20th century, the rise in producing commercial videotapes catering to voyeurs helped encourage a tradition of women baring their breasts in exchange for beads and trinkets. What trinkets?
It's probably from the original when Native Americans sold Long Island for beads. I don't know. Yeah.
It's just that is something, because I mean there is like a really rich history. The Mardi Gras has been going on since like 133 BC. So I mean, there's a rich tradition there, but I thought there would be some significance, and as far as I can tell, it just happens to be beads.
Yeah, so no. I don't know. This is throws. That's what you're reading about, the throws. Yeah. So it's the throws are not just beads either. There's stuffed animals, cups, a lot of cups. I keep a bunch of them in my RV because they're really
cups are practical. That I get.
Yeah.
You want to drink, you need a cup. I've never been in a situation where I'm like, man, I need some beads.
Okay, so
Honey, take your top off. I need some beads.
it says during the late 1800s, inexpensive necklaces were tossed in the crowds by the parade crews, and they were instant hit, and so everybody started doing it. They believe a man dressed up as Santa Claus was the first person in New Orleans to parade to use beads in his costumes. Other tourists soon followed his lead, and they began to decorate him. By 1900, over 100,000 tourists traveled. So yeah, so it's like they just decided to do it.
I think Santa. I wouldn't
beads were
think
made
Santa
in
would be hanging
Venice.
around Mardi Gras.
I don't know. I'm Santa, and I hang around different places. I have a nice Santa.
I mean,
suit.
Santa's got to take some time off. There's a little R&R. You go down to Mardi Gras, basically use January to recover, and then head on down to Mardi Gras. I can see it. Santa's got to unwind too. Do you think Mrs. Claus approves?
Yeah, she's cool with it. I asked her. So the other thing I've noticed, that like if you go into bead stores in New Orleans, they have some, what regular beads are. Well, they got a lot of them have stuff on them like a crawdad or a a mud bug as we call it, or some liquor, your name, or marijuana leaf. So there's all that stuff. But then there's these big giant ones, and some of them are like 5 inches in diameter, and it never fails when I'm there. There'll be some giant football looking guy wearing a set of those, and I'm like, that is so weird. It's like size of his head. So anyway, I just think that's weird. But
tricky to walk around with. So I'm drinking we got so distracted talking about Mardi Gras. I forgot to mention I've got the Abita Brewing strawberry lager.
How is that?
I like fruit beers, like you said before we went on air. I like fruit beers a lot. You can't really, well, you can make a bad one. We discovered that a few weeks ago with the
we did
with that Radler, it's solid. It's really good. I'm not going to give it a 5 necessarily. We'll get to the rating in a minute, but it's solid. It's Purple Haze is one of my favorite beers, and that of course coming from Abita as well. And I like those berry beers.
Berry beers, they're very good. They're very, very good.
Honey.
Hang on.
All right, so we better get into rating these things. I've got the Abita Brewing strawberry lager, and if you don't mind, I'm gonna go first. Horace Radio on Untapped. He's Huck's Beer Buzz, and I'll give it a 4, a 4 even.
There you go. Well, I've got the Mardi Gras Bock with the nice cool label. Get credit for that. It's actually a really good Bock. It's a little bit thick for a Bock. But Abita makes good beers. So I'm going to give this guy a 4.25. It is 6.5% as well. Very close to a Huck session beer.
Yeah, this one's 4.2. We're low on the strawberry lager, but I kind of expected
It's a lager. What are you gonna do?
It's a lager, and I mean, you find that with fruit beers anyway. Usually not a very high ABV. Well, you're listening to Brewsday Tuesday. It is Mardi Gras. Celebrate responsibly. Have fun. Of course, Brewsday Tuesday brought to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store. Rolling on next right here on 105.3 The Bear.